So you say you like slot car scenery. Boy, do I have a show for you. Friday, Slot Car News, sponsored by lebhobbies.com. LEB Hobbies, racing fast, made easy. Visit lebhobbies.com. Alrighty, folks. Yes, as I always say, it's Friday. You know that. I know that. Slot car time. Okay, so we got a whole bunch of news this week. I mean, a lot. I got like 3 pages of notes here. So let's get right into it. Corvette C8s from Scalextric. Not a unicorn anymore. They're finally here. They spent the last 3 weeks in port in Tacoma because of the unique way that our port system is handled in the U.S. So they've been sitting in the port of Tacoma for 3 weeks. Finally, they got unloaded. Now they are on the way. I am told, and I believe, that I have some samples on the way. I'm very grateful, very excited. What else can I say about them? It's been a tough year for every manufacturer, so let's not get too down on Scalextric I mean, it's not their fault to begin with. What else can I say? Second bit of news. We have the Slotted 512 updated photos, I guess you would call them. These look just exquisite. Not unlike some other recent Slotteds that I'll get to in a little while here. What else can you say? This is a runner for, as far as I'm concerned, slot car of the year. There's a couple slot cars. I've been very effusive about my love for a number of cars that have been announced and should be coming later this year. Not the least of which the MR slot car Shadow and the 512 from Slotted, as we know. There's some other stuff as well. This is going to be a really interesting year. I'm really hoping all this stuff ships this year. I have every hope that it will. And, you know, if things get late, I'm not going to get too terribly upset about this. We have so much available now to us that it's a great time to be in the hobby. So the Slotted 512. I've been rambling for a few minutes now about this. It looks like a great car. Next, Revoslot, by way of Giacomo Grazioli, slot photographer extraordinaire, one of my favorite photographers, is showing photos of a Revoslot, the Valiant GT2 Porsche team that he shot recently, I guess. Yeah, I mean, they're Revoslots. They look fantastic. What else can you say? They run really well too, of course. Next, we have some modern Formula One cars, obviously from the 3D printing area of the hobby here. These guys make some absolutely incredible stuff. The designs are sharp. The execution is crisp. They look really good. In production fairly soon, or in design, I should say, now. 132 and 124. There you go. Updated photos from Slotted of their next release of this car. This is the Jaguar. This is a Castrol version of the Jag that I just got recently from LEB. This car is just stunning looking. I gotta be honest, I'm not personally a huge fan of Jaguars, but this car, it is a completely different car than the first version of the Jag, by the way. There's nothing that they share in common, evidently, except for, I believe, the wing. The body detail on this car, the shapes, the mold lines, and this will be for this Budweiser one as well, or sorry, Bud Light one that you see here. There's so much fine detail on this. This is like yet another. I mean, I say this all the time about Slotted. I'm partial to them. I mean, I do some social media work for them, but it's hard to deny, in any case, that they're not making some of the most beautifully detailed, perfectly designed. Boy, that's out on a leap. But anyway, it's really great stuff. It's absolutely great stuff. They got another release of the Jaguar coming. Bud Light. If you like it, buy it. Please do. Thunderslot Lolas are now in stock, probably around the U.S. at your favorite dealer. 2 different liveries of those, John Surtees and Mark Donahue, if I'm not mistaken. Hopefully, I'm not mistaken. Okay, next we are going to talk about a bit more Scalextric news. I should have included this a little bit closer to the beginning, I guess. They have done they've updated with some new cars. One of the most notable new cars is a livery release, web-only, exclusive to them release. Boy, I'm butchering this, aren't I? They're releasing a car that they all themselves are going to sell exclusively, only online. It's the Jaguar that you see here. I don't really know how I feel about this. Most of their releases will be for sale at your favorite dealer, or if you're British, your favorite stockist. So it's really kind of hard to fault them for doing one release themselves to try to, boost sales for this mold. I don't know. In general, I don't like the idea of dealers selling or manufacturers selling things themselves. They should be supporting their dealer network. I don't know. I'm not gonna run down Scalextric because they do a lot of great stuff. They release more different cars than anybody each year. 1 or 2 of them, they release themselves. Maybe, I guess. They're releasing probably double the number of cars that Carrera are. Hard to find fault with this, folks. It really is. So, lastly, I've been following this guy's work online for a little while now, and I admit I hadn't clicked on the links he had put for his website. I'm talking about Kevin Sharp. He's on Facebook, and it's racetrackscenics.com. I'm hoping I'm getting that URL right. I believe I am. I will include it under where you see me now, and as a clickable link under this video. I was messaging back and forth with him this morning before I started shooting this, and I mean, this guy, I go on and on about scenery. This guy makes some incredible American-made, it's made in North Carolina, designed in North Carolina. The scenery is designed by Johan Milan. I'm hoping I'm saying his name right. He's a retired architect. And Kevin Sharp is the guy that owns the business. And as I said, made in North Carolina. I'm really hoping that folks take a look at their website. The stuff is all wood. It's laser cut. It's easy to assemble and glue together. I mean, you're going to be able to glue the stuff with Elmer's. And it's going to be really nice to finish. You can sand because it's wood. So it's going to be a fairly forgiving surface to play with, to work with, and to paint. It's going to be a very forgiving surface for that. It's going to be super easy to paint. I mean, you could get some fairly cheap latex paint at Michael's or at a hobby store and paint this stuff up, and it's going to look beautiful, I think. He makes grandstands and buildings and towers, all different kinds of signs. There are some that have lights in them as well. And yes, he does offer a power supply that you can buy. I think it's like $9, pretty cheap, that you can plug in the lights so you'll be able to paint and then light up the little sign or the little building. I mean, this looks like some really great stuff. To me, when I always see scenery like this, I get excited. I'll be honest with you. You all know, if you've been around this channel at all, you all know my thing is kind of scenery. I haven't been doing, I'm still building what I'm considering my permanent, in quotes, track. And so I haven't really had a nicely scenic track as me setting the example for what I'm doing on my channel. But I'm getting there. And I'm going slowly, deciding kind of what I want. Kevin is going to send me, he offered, pretty much out of the blue. I had liked one of his posts of one of the newer buildings, just something, I forget what it was. I mean, take your pick. They all look beautiful, frankly. I had liked one of his posts. He messaged me on Facebook, and he's like, hey, do you want to sample pick whatever you'd like? And I'm getting the Tag Heuer VIP stand that I'm going to put down here at the end, kind of near the Dunlop Bridge that I knock over all the time. And what else? So one of the things he messaged me, one of the questions you always kind of get with something this small, if it's made out of wood. So it's basswood, birch, plywood, and MDF are the mediums that they use, whatever. It's the wood they use. And he said, because the designer who's doing this stuff for him is an architect, or a retired architect, that the buildings are very structurally sound. For example, the Riverside building or structure that they make is based on the actual design. So when you get it assembled, glued all together, he says it's very rigid. I believe him. I mean, if you're working with an architect, they're going to have kind of a level of expectation, even for, a toy model. They're going to want to make it nice. They're going to want it to be structurally sound. And even with, the stuff being wood, and I mean, it's going to be fairly lightweight anyway, but it should be nice and sturdy. That sounds really great to me. And he's going to send me a sample of something. I'll give some thoughts on that when that arrives. And yeah, I mean, I do need to do a better job probably of reaching out, especially to smaller manufacturers like this. There's not a lot of niche people making, or people making niche things, manufacturers making niche things. Racetrack Scenics is one of them. I'm hoping we can support them. We're all about scenery here. I'm all about made in America. I really am. I am not, I understand that a lot of things have to be made in China. There is what I would prefer and what I believe to be necessary in most cases. I believe it's necessary in most cases, especially for the larger manufacturers, to make stuff in the Orient, whether it's China or Korea or Vietnam or India. I get that. I don't really have a problem with that. I would prefer things to be made here. We got the chance, you can hear it rattling, we got the chance to purchase great looking little scenery pieces made in America. Do it. Also, here at the end of the video, folks, we have our show notifications. We have the Parsippany show coming up at the end of this month. A couple of people have asked me if I'm going. No, I'm not going to be able to be there. It's too far for me to go to most shows like this. It's just, I don't want to take a whole day away from my family and weekend time, things like that, to go to a show. But there you go. Show coming up. And then we have our good friends to the north in Canada having their show in October. Yes, I do plan to do a live stream on Sunday. We're going to talk about these cars a little more. I will talk about them a bit now. So I've already talked a little bit about the Jag. There we go. Look at that focus. Look at that 4K goodness. It's a little hot. I know. I'll take it back a little bit. I mean, I've talked a lot about this car. It's not a car that I would personally gravitate towards, but after having seen it, it's just, there's so much really nice detail and contour and work put into this that, I mean, if you're a Jag fan, this is an automatic. You need to buy it. I do expect it will sell out. Speaking of selling out, finally, I got my sample from LEB, of course, of the first version of the Nissan. This car, to me, is a no-brainer modern classic. GT3 car. I don't really know how it performs yet, but as far as a notable, beautiful slot car, boy howdy, look at this guy. I know some folks have already had theirs. They've had them for a while. Yeah, this car is, I mean, it's what I would consider kind of a modern classic car. It's the first mold that Slot-It released of this car. As we know, you know, the Slot-It part numbers, if there's an A after the number at the end of the part number, that means it's the first release in this series. This car was the first release in this series. I know some retailers here in the US just did get another shipment of these directly from Slot-It, and I happen to know that LEB has them, so there you go. That's where I got mine. They were very graciously sending me samples of things that I post on their social media, and then I posted on the Slot-It social media as well, and Polycar social media as well, because that's how I have to get my samples from them now, rather than through Hornby America. That's fine. The second release of the car, this is obviously the B part number. B as in boy. Part number. This is the second release of the car. It looks strikingly similar. There's nothing obviously going to be mechanically different about this car. Yet another GT3 car for our ever-growing modern GT3 field that I'm sure folks would, you know, like to add to. It's personally, I really love the red livery. I really do like this blue livery as well. It's nice. There's a lot of subtle detail. See if you can pick this up. Yeah, you can. There's a red edge the whole way around the bottom of the chassis. That's really, really cool. Very nice fine detail on this car from Slot-It. Unfortunately, mine came, it was missing a headlight cover. What are you going to do? This stuff happens. For the live stream on Sunday, I will have probably the blue car on the track. I will be doing some laps with that, giving you my thoughts about that. It's going to be with and without the magnet. It'll be without the magnet. I'm just going to take the magnet out with just stock tires, a little bit of oil. That's about it. A little looser on the body and the pod. That's about it. We're going to run these cars stock because on the Polycar track, gotta love that grip, right? Everything sticks. All right, folks. We've been through a lot today, so been a lot of blah, blah, blah. I know, but I'm excited. I'm feeling good. Great bunch of news today. Please check out Racetrack Scenics if you already haven't by now. Very excited to see what they send. And yeah, we'll give them a check. We'll check them out when the stuff arrives. But until then, please check out their website. That's about it, folks. See you all on Sunday. I appreciate you stopping by.